Hello, it's a happy Thursday. How are you this morning? How are you doing? What's up? What's going on where you are? I guess you're doing well. It's an amazing sunny, it's a little sunny, but also chilly day. Um, yeah, good to see you, Lukundo. Thank you so much. Who else is here? Who else is in the house? Christine, good morning. Good morning. Good to have you here. Um, yeah, I always look forward to Thursdays. Amazing thoughts just go through my mind concerning our souls and just a number of things that ought to happen in the future. I'm looking at the calendar, and yeah, we've moved. We're about to conclude 2025 like a joke. I was telling somebody yesterday that the year has come to an end quite fast for me. I think because the very first 4 months were just hectic. We were busy preparing my daughter's wedding, so there were different events. So I didn't actually see how the 4 months even ended. So for me, I'm like, are we already in August? This can't be true. We're already in August. My God. Wow. Yeah, so we are here. Today, I just want to talk about a few things that we'll be doing next week. In South Africa, in Johannesburg, we are doing Real Woman Summit. It's a Women's Month in South Africa, and so there are a lot of activities. I was told a lot of activities are going on concerning women. But then for us, it's there's a twist, there's a shift in the way we would like to do the Women Summit in South Africa this time. So I would like to speak to you around those issues because I'm having a lot of sessions ranging from women, discovering that their husbands, their so-called friends to their husbands are, into gayism. What do you do when you find that your wife is using, love potions or medicines that they got from a witch doctor, and they're adamant about that. They're refusing to denounce and looking critically onto those particular things. You find even your name is on one of the candles, to discovering that actually your husband has been having, an affair, or is it having just sex with multiple women, and he wants help. He confesses he now wants help. How do you help him? So many things are going on. What do you do when you find that you're trying everything that is there to try, and your finances aren't just improving, and it's only your wife who is making money? She's lost respect. The issue when she comes home, uh, she doesn't want to be with you as a husband because she's tired. And when you insist, she'll just blast at you. You just seated at home. That's all you know what to do. You just know sex, sex, sex. You're not going out to look for a job, because then at least you would also be tired and probably not to look forward to just having sex. There are a lot of things that are going on. A lot of things are going on in the homes. And so in South Africa, we are going to set out Friday next week, the 29th of August, to speak into these things. A lot is going on. And so I would like to just have a little conversation. What do you do in such type of cases when you find this is what is happening in your marriage, or you are hearing these are things that are going on in marriage? What do you do as you are preparing for marriage? So I usually tell people, first and foremost, there are things nobody enters into marriage to divorce. Okay. There's nobody who says, okay, I will get married and then after 5 years or after 10 years, we're going to divorce because one, two, three, four things. Nobody. Everybody who is entering in marriage, they've got that hope and that focus that this marriage is going to work. Everybody who goes to school, they do their degree. Nobody sits to say, okay, when I do my degree, then I'm just going to stay at home. um, I won't earn a salary or something like that, or I'm doing this business, it must fail. I won't be able to make a profit. Nobody thinks like that. So there's so many things that are going on that we need to interrogate in order for us to really get to understand what you do when you find yourself in a tight corner and there are certain things that are out of your control and you don't actually know what you're supposed to do. So I usually tell people the first and foremost thing that needs to happen to your life as you're listening to me right now, whether married, unmarried, divorced, widowed, whatever it is, you need to really, really do anything and everything possible to actually uncover the reason you were born here on earth. When everything else fails, when things aren't going the way they're supposed to go, what you will hold on to, what will give you strength and the zeal to open your eyes, wake up to whatever it is that needs to happen, is that particular thing that you were born to do here on earth. And therefore, I would like to urge you, each one of you, I want you to sit still. We are in the month of August. We are about to conclude the year. Why were you born? Do you know the reason why you were born? Remove children, remove your spouse, because many times we actually get entangled to trying to fix people, to fix your wife, to fix your husband, because he's done this, she's done this, and so on and so forth. And we actually forget to fix us. So, my first introduction to any situation that comes in my counseling room, when somebody comes to complain about what is going on, da 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 da, they come there, with guns because somebody has done something wrong. What shocks them is how I tone them down. I first and foremost tell them, okay, remove your husband, remove your wife, remove your children. I want to speak to you. Who are you? What were you born to do here on earth? And so they are surprised because when they come before me, they want us to attack the husband. They've just discovered he's got multiple relationships. They just discovered in a WhatsApp he's been cheating, he's been watching pornography, so on and so forth. My question then removes first and foremost what is going on, because let me tell you something. Doesn't matter the person stops what they are doing. That won't still give you satisfaction because you still have to enter the road of healing. And that healing is not going to happen now if you do not have a reason to wake up for what you were born to do. So when you begin to deal with you as a person, you remove first and foremost the problems. Because remember what I usually tell people, that problem, when you are looking at it, that problem has different meanings to different people, different meanings. And therefore, the meaning that you have attached to the problem is based on the thoughts that are inside of you. That is why the very first thing that you must do is begin to cultivate and identifying the reason you have been born here on earth. And discovering that particular purpose has to do with self interrogation. So that is the first thing. Self interrogation, things that you love to do that gives you joy. You call them hobbies and so on and so forth. But really, focusing on that and really beginning to cultivate and starting to lead the reason. Because, like many, many people are going through all these situations, you'll find that God has given them a mandate to speak into probably women and the issues that they are going through. But because they have been crowded in what they are going through, so that they can't even speak to women, they can't go out there to bring empowerment to these women because they are so overcrowded with one particular individual that is doing them wrong, because they are saying that person is doing them wrong. So let's remove all that. So that is what I take people through. We go through a journey of self discovery, we go through a journey of purpose and covering, really removing the debt, removing, things that you have spoken into the reason you were born, and removing all the clutter, because many times society, how or what you've gone through, situations you are facing, school, and so on and so forth, they clutter this reason you were born. That is the first thing that I deal with my clients. So it's a process. And sometimes they will sit there and they're like, oh my God, the way I came angry and how that I'm not angry anymore, I can't even understand, because that goes to, applying techniques that have to bring somebody in their resourceful state. Okay, because in that unresourcefulness, even if you talk to them, because in their mind they are blocked, in their mind they are thinking and focusing on the wrongs and the person who has wronged them, without knowing that actually, if you can look at the wrong of that person and the wrong they themselves, who are calling themselves victims, that they've done, what they've said, to the person. If you discover your spouse is, is into infidelity, tell me what you've said. Tell me what you've told him, the words that came out of your mouth. Now, it's those things that were coming out of your mouth that have actually hurt you, because I tell people there's no water that comes out of a pipe without leaving residue, without leaving it weight. So as you are angry and you are speaking all those bad words, there's some residue, that negativity that has remained with you. Nobody says bad things and they remain happy. So that's a process that I take people through. The second thing that I take people through is to remove their focus on the thing. Okay? Remove focus on that problem. You cannot heal when your focus is on the problem. You will never find deliverance, you'll never find healing if every day you are interrogating the problem, focusing on it, how it happened, when it happened. There's a need for shift. And there are techniques that I get people through to bring about, to remove the focus on that particular thing that has hurt them. And in doing so, you first, the very person who is angry, because for you to even find yourself before a coach or a counselor is because those things have hurt you, and we're not refusing. We're not refusing that those are hateful things, and I've generalized here. I've spoken into different things of what is going on. So many things. You can't be focusing on the problem. You can't be focusing on who said. You can't be focusing on who did, because that alone will get you drowned. So the removing focus on the problem also has got its own techniques that I take my clients, through. And by the time, we call it the first healing secret. The first healing secret is to shift your eyes from the problem. And so you ask me how and why. Okay. So those are things that I talk to my clients in my personal chambers, because at the time we begin to go through these healing, as secrets, we've already signed the confidentiality agreement form. Confidentiality agreement form is because there are a lot of things that I would require my client to open up to, because sometimes they come with one little thing in a corner. Meanwhile, there are other things that are really draining their lives. And so when we begin to have that conversation, it's important that we sign, both I as the coach or the counselor, I have to sign so that when my client opens up, I'm bound to that particular room and the conversation that we are having. There are certain times in those revelations and interrogations that not really interrogation, but maybe probing is the best word, that goes on in our conversations. You find that there some of the things can be very scary that get to be revealed, ranging from, oh, the child that I have is not my husband's child. He doesn't know because of one, two, three, four things. Oh, I fathered a child somewhere. My child is 4 years old. I don't know how to tell my wife. And so it's not me, the counselor or the coach, that has to reveal those things to the spouse. I begin to just help my client to warm up, because there are certain things that you can't keep quiet forever. So you've got to start, finding ways of ending this, mystery and so on. But it's not in my place. I simply speak to my clients the advantages and disadvantages of certain things and begin to weigh those particular things. So issue of shifting eyes, from the problem is big, and it takes, like in my sessions, like 2 weeks. We have to go through different activities that have to shift my client's eyes on the problem and begin now to focus on their healing, begin to focus on activities that will bring healing, begin to doing things, saying things that will remove your eyes on the particular thing that has hurt you. That is the second thing that gets to happen. The journey continues depending on how the client is faring, that we move on to level three. And level three is now plugging in, because when you have shifted, what is it that you have added in those spaces? Because your mind has had strongholds about that particular issue. And so when you've been going through dismantling those holds that have held you captive. Because remember, many times when you are going through what you're going through with whoever has done whatever they've done against you, eventually you become a victim and you become angry, you become hurt, you become a prisoner to actions of another person. So when we begin to dismantle those uh, uh, strongholds in your mind that have caused you to really be focusing on things that are not building. When we dismantle them, we need to start filling into those holds other things. Okay, in the Bible, you will find this well explained in the book of Second Corinthians, chapter number 10, when Paul is talking to the people at Corinth. He's talking about these strongholds. He says, we need to pull down. Okay, these strongholds. These strongholds are imaginations. These strongholds are thoughts. So I want you to know, what has held you captive is your own imagination. What has held you captive are your own thoughts. Those thoughts, they're in concrete. They are it are things that you perceive are right, and you have fed your mind with those things. For example, you can just be okay. Let's just do a test. You can just be okay, and all of a sudden, the doctor maybe gets blood, from you, or they do an examination, somehow in a way, and immediately the doctor says, "Oh, by the way, we've just discovered you've got cancer." Okay, so the information that the doctor has said, that they've just discovered you've got cancer, has no bearing, has no effect on your body or on your life. What has effect is this: when those words the doctor has spoken marries with what you think cancer is, okay, marries with what you think cancer is, and that hold, that stronghold that is in your mind, when it meets up with the words outside, that is what starts dismantling your body. The person who has no idea what cancer is, what it does, it will just be a word. It will be just a mere word. And so the reaction between you and the person who does not know what that can do will be totally different. And even the neural net and the way the body will the neurons that will travel in the body will be totally different. So that is the very point I'm trying to drive at. What is going on in your life? How you've interpreted the problem. Remember, there are different problems from what your spouse has done. You know, the issues of witchcraft. Maybe you've discovered she is consulting. Maybe you discover he's got a friend who is they've got a relationship, and your husband is doing both. Two, he's sleeping with your helpers. To several issues. Whatever it is that you're going through, you need to know that why you are so angry is not because of what you saw or what you heard. The anger is because of the meaning. There are holes in your mind. So you have pulled out a folder out of your mind and you have aligned it to what you heard and what you saw. So that is what we are dealing with. We need to pull out the meanings that are destructive, that are disempowering. So as we move into the third aspect of now bringing in new things that have to dismantle that, the Bible there says bringing into captivity, okay, every thought to the obedience of Christ. In other words, they are true things, they are correct things. The obedience of Christ is the life you're supposed to lead, the marriage you are supposed to have, the career you are supposed to have. That is the obedience to Christ. But then there's something that has happened to dismantle what God destined for you. And because that thing has come to dismantle, you have a responsibility to bring into captivity. You've got to captivate those thoughts, those imaginations, those words that you heard, and begin to starve them. You've got to not give them oxygen. Giving them oxygen is when you are thinking about them, looking at them, zooming into them. You are now, making them more healthier. Those thoughts are now healthier and they are diminishing your thought process. They are diminishing what you're supposed to do. Remember, these are sessions and there are things that I'm not talking about that we get to go through that helps my clients. I'm simply bringing in generic things here. So if you are going through those situations, you are facing those circumstances, I want you to know you can't learn. Others would say, oh, Doc, you helped me on social media. You can't learn enough on social media because here I'm just highlighting things. I've got to sit with you. We've got to look each other in the eye. I've got to dig out what it is. Where have you remained? What is your stronghold? How have you been trapped? Is it childhood trauma? How have you been trapped? Is it school? What? So there are different questions that really come in that we get to bring our clients into that place of expressing themselves to destroy those particular strongholds. And in captivating those strongholds, there are also different questions, different activities, because they've got to be broken and bring into captivity, captivate those, thoughts that are killing your morale. You go the whole day, you are angry, you are depressed, you are resourceful. So whatever it is, what we'll be talking about next week in South Africa is whatever it is that is going on in your life at home, because it's you. We cannot separate you from the person who is an accountant. We can't separate you from a person who is a director. So whatever it is that you're facing at home, the situations at home, somehow they trickle into your behavior at work. That is why boardroom to bedroom, we are saying that the same attention you are paying to growing your career is the same attention you should pay to grow your marriage, to grow your personal life in marriage if you're not yet married, to prepare yourself. You have to be intentional. The same way you're looking for that job, you are intentional in preparing your CV, adding, other skills, adding other certificates. It's the same way you've got to prepare yourself for that particular marriage, for that particular woman, for that particular man. There has to be intentionality. So those are things that will be building our, clients on Friday. We will be entering right into the bedroom issues. And many times when I tell people bedroom, they all just rush quickly into sex. That is not even what we'll be concentrating on. We will talk about that because it's very destructive also. There are many people who enter marriage, they don't know what they're supposed to do. They just think they know. So there is just trial and error. Okay, trial and so we will deal with those issues also, but there are several other issues that pertain to marriage, that pertain to a person wanting to work in marriage, or you already married, or the person has cheated. The cheating is a result of some underlying causes. That is why I'm telling you that the interpretation of what is happening right now in your life is based on the holds. It's based on things that are inside of you. And therefore, the issue of captivating your own thoughts, okay? Because remember, whatever it is that you will face in life, I'm speaking to you. Pay attention. Whatever it is that will happen in your life, there will be things you will hear, news that will come to you, bad news, things that are not really appealing. You've got to build yourself that nothing throws you on the floor. You've got to guard your mind. There's a way you need to be prepared. That is why mentorship, I tell people, mentorship is not let's sit for 3 days. Mentorship is a lifestyle. Mentorship is a journey. You've got to sit under mentorship as a journey, not only as fire brigade. Get to talk to your mentor often and get to understand several things and your behavior of if this happened. For example, I'm dealing with a lot of such issues, and some of you, you've got a gift or you've got a calling to help people who are undergoing marital issues. How you are handling those couples that are coming to you, or your young ladies, young men who are coming. Some of you have got children. But because you are not paying attention to graduate your mind, to upgrade your mind, to understand how to talk to a youth, how to talk to a young person who's about to walk into marriage, you are not giving the best as a teacher because you're not upgrading in understanding techniques and understanding things that, oh, so I had a breakup with my boyfriend. Oh, yeah, just heal and move on. It was not meant for you. It doesn't happen like that. There's going to be some damage, and the way this girl or this guy will be looking at the next person who walks up into their lives. If you don't work with them to remove them from being trapped, that particular breakup is going to affect them later, 10 years in marriage, because inside their mind, there's a folder that they have kept based on what they've gone through. So because the cleaning was not properly done, they'll be looking and using lenses that are damaged in a relationship. And we unknowingly, and I'm not saying this to really build up on people are cheating, sometimes because of the behavior and the non-training, you may actually lead. Though I know that the person must have their own decision to do what they want to do, but I want you to know, as much as you can harness, something good to happen, you can also harness something bad to happen. There are certain times, because of your lack of proper healing, you may have led your spouse to do the things that they are doing. Remember, I said it. Each person has a decision, not to be influenced by a spouse, like, oh, I did this because of you. No, 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 no. Every person must have that energy, that power, and that's why preparation is important. What if you find a spouse that is really bringing a lot of temptations for you to go out there? What do you do? So the issue of growth of the strength of your mind is imperative. That is why I'm inviting you. Most of you are mentors who are in my space. I would like to help you. I would like to train you on how you can talk to your children, how you can prepare those young people about to get married. Let's, learn these things because they are affecting us. And when I'm listening, I'm like, where are we? Where are we? You can help your sister, you can help your cousin because you are the one who's in close proximity of the situation that is going on. So please do let your people know if you are in Johannesburg. I would like to see you on Friday. Come, we talk about these things. Some of you are single. Don't say, oh, it's for marriage. I want to prepare you. I want to help you so that you can be strong enough to handle pressure, whatever it is that will be going on next week on Friday and Saturday. We will be entering into the boardroom and we'll be speaking into how you can leverage on different things to really upgrade in your career, help you to be sound, and really get yourself to understand that the marketplace is separate. As long as, if as much as you are the same person, the marketplace is separate, the bedroom is also separate. Just like I can't be the same sister. I'm a sister, I'm me, but I'm a sister, but I'm also a mother. My behavior as a mother is different from my behavior as a sister. So you're able to wear a different cape and really, streamline your emotions. You can leave these negative emotions and enter in with positive. So see you next week. If you're in Joburg, please do get some details on in the chart. Reach out to me for how you can come over on Friday and Saturday next week, 29th and 30th of August. We are in Johannesburg. See you and God richly bless you. Shalom, shalom.